Hello. Uh, it is now Monday, June 8th at 10:23 a.m. So yeah, I worked this morning. Um, so yeah, I still my instructor has still not responded to me about the class. So I still cannot do any homework from that class. So I will do it today. I'm gonna do another day of working on my F2L. So So how did it go yesterday? It did go very well, at least in my opinion. So yeah, I went over and kind of memorized all those algorithms. Like I say kind of, because a lot of those algorithms, like I don't think they even came up in any of my solves. So I don't even know if I would be able to do it if I saw it in a solve. And also, I think a few of the algorithms I may have accidentally forgotten to do in my session, which just means I need to turn even more slowly than I was already turning. Uh, So, anyways, to make absolutely sure that I am 100% using all of those algs, or at least all of the algs I want to use from that list, I'm going every single day, maybe not every day, but like every day that I do a cubing session, I'm going to go over all of those algorithms again and just make a mental note to do that algorithm, basically. So, yeah, yesterday I was feeling very discouraged because my average of the session was 16.9. And even though I was averaging 16.9, I still didn't feel like I was doing optimized F2L. So I think I've decided I'm going to change my mindset even more drastically than I originally was planning to do. So basically, what I'm going to do for every single solve of the session, every solve, is I'm going to pause for every F2L pair, look around the entire cube, yes, even the back of the cube where I can't see pairs, and I'm going to make a decision as to which F2L pair is the most optimal pair to do in that situation. And then after doing that, I'm going to look around and see what's the next optimal, or what's the optimal pair to do next. And I'm going to do that for every single solve. And my average is not going to be 15. It's not going to be 20. It's not going to be 30. My average for this next session is probably going to be over a minute. That's how slowly I'm going to be turning. I don't know if this is a good way to practice, but I want to get to the point where every solve I do, I'm always choosing the most optimal F2L pair. Every single solve. For every single F2L pair. Because that is how you get better at F2L. That is how you get fast F2Ls in solves. That's what the most advanced speed cubers. It may sound crazy. It may sound crazy to do that, but the most optimal cube, the fastest cubers in the world, who average around 6 seconds or less, they actually do that to a certain extent. They have to do that in order to average that. They can't just do the first pair that they see every single time. Otherwise, they wouldn't be averaging 6 seconds. That's impossible. So that's what I'm gonna do. This could be terrible. My average will be like a minute, and who knows how long it'll take me to get my average back down to 8 seconds. But I feel like this method of solving the F2L, it has the greatest potential for speed, basically, like getting down to 6 or even less average. So I don't know how this is gonna go. Like yesterday, it went a little bit worse than I thought, and today I'm expecting to average about a minute, and I don't even know if I'm gonna see any improvement during the session. Like I might just average a minute without any improvement at all whatsoever. Like yesterday, at least I improved. Like I started out averaging around 20 seconds, and then I pushed it all the way down to 16.9. But today I might not even see any improvement. I might just average a minute, and just that's that. I average a minute. But I really hope this is a good way Dude, this is a very, very extreme way of trying to get faster. Like most people, if I might be literally the only person in the world who is doing this right now. Like maybe, I don't know, a few other people, but I've never heard of anybody doing this before. And I guess it's kind of an experiment to see if you can actually get fast doing this. So, um, yep. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do today is go over all these algorithms, and it should only take maybe 20 or 30 minutes to do that. So I'm just going to go over all the algs and make sure I know I can do the alg, and make a mental note to do that in a solve. So I'll do that right now. It's currently 10:29, and then I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, so now it is 10:56. So I went through all the algs once. Yeah, they're so, like, all these algs are so intuitive that I really haven't forgotten any of them. Um, there's a couple of them that are a little bit complicated, but most of them, the vast majority of them, are just really intuitive. So, yeah, I was able to go through that pretty quickly. So now the difficult part is to, one, integrate them into my solves, and two, to actually use them efficiently rather than just using them whenever, like, basically don't do the alg unless it's the best possible case you can do in that situation. So yeah, I'm now gonna do my session. It's 10 o'clock, so I actually have like a lot more time than I had yesterday. Yesterday I only had like a couple hours, but today I have like all day. Oh my gosh, I can't. It sounds like torture to like do 1 minute long solves like all day long, but I really hope that it won't be a minute long for every single. Like I really hope it starts out like a minute, and then I can see some improvement really quickly over just a few hours. But on the other hand, I would not be surprised at all if I average a minute and I don't improve at all today, which would really, really suck. But I I'm doing this just because it's for the long run benefit. It's not for the short term, because in the short term it really, really, really sucks, but for the long term it might be really, 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 really good. But on the other hand, this might be a complete failure and a complete waste of time. I'm not really sure, but I feel like this will be good. So anyways, yeah, I will now do my session. Maybe I'll give you an update like halfway through or something to let you know how it's going. Oh yeah, it's like 10:58. Yeah. Okay, so it is now 12:46. I did a session of 141 solves, and guess what the average it was? The average of the session was 26.7. And you may be wondering, well, dude, that is so slow. You normally average 8 seconds. Well, actually, I'm very happy that the average was 26.7, because I was expecting the average to be like a minute. So it turns out that if on every single solve, I always look for and execute the most efficient F2L pair possible, then my times go up to 26 seconds average. But my efficiency of the solves is very, very good. So if I could do those same solves but fast, then those solves would potentially be around 5 or 6 seconds. But yeah. So anyways, I'm actually kind of happy. I don't know why. I just feel happy that it was a 26 average and not like a minute average. And was I improving? I was kind of improving, because like my current average of 100 was 25.6. Now my best average of 50 was 21.1. So I got really good for like 50 solves, and then I went back to being not as good. Considering 21 to be good. But yeah, anyways, I'll just show you my best solve from the session. It was the 8.69. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm not sure today. I don't know. I might go back to doing those. You know what? I think I don't want to because here's the thing. I'm not gonna just completely switch over to doing that because that would really, really suck. What I'm gonna do instead is half, basically not half and half, but every day that I do a cubing session, I'm going to do two types of sessions. The one type of session is where I choose the most efficient F2L pair every time. And the other session is where I do the first F2L pair I see. In other words, I just do what I normally do. Now, in my normal solve, sometimes I do make good choices between F2L pairs, but that's doesn't happen all the time. Most of the time, I just do the first F2L pair I see. So, um, basically, I'm going to do a regular session and an optimized session. So, so that I won't get too discouraged and with my times always being really bad. So basically, that will give me the potential to just do normal solves and still have a normal average. But my goal is I want one of two things to happen in the long run. One, I want the optimized session to become faster, than the normal session. So basically, the optimized solves end up being faster than doing solves where I just do the first pair I see. So, but the other thing that could possibly happen, which is much more likely to happen, is the optimized sessions never actually get faster than my normal sessions. But in my normal sessions, I start implementing things I do in the optimized sessions little by little, and then eventually the two sessions become identical, basically, in what I do. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's ever possible. Like, I don't know if it's ever even possible for that to happen. Um, because the way I did my optimized session, basically, I would do the cross and then I would pause and look around the cube and look at all the four F2L pairs. And realistically, in a solve, nobody would do that. Like, you can't do that unless you plan. Basically, unless you look in your inspection and look at all four F2L pairs in your inspection. But even then, once you do your first F2L pair, maybe you plan even plan your first two pairs. Actually, you know what? Here's what an optimized F2L solve would be, or an optimized solve would be. You would plan your first two pairs in inspection, and then your last two pairs, you look at both of the pairs, and then choose which one is better. So maybe that's what I should be doing instead. Light bulb. Okay. That sounds much more efficient than what I'm doing right now, actually. So instead of just doing the cross and then choosing the most efficient pair out of four pairs and then choosing the most efficient pair out of three pairs, what I should do instead is just plan my first two pairs, obviously. What I could even do is look at inspection and see. No, that wouldn't really be possible now, would it? Most people, when they're really, really fast, when they average like 6 seconds, they plan one or two pairs in inspection. And you can't possibly choose the most optimal solution for both pairs. You just choose two pairs that you think are reasonably fast and do those two pairs. Like, I don't think humans are really capable of choosing the two most optimal pairs in inspection. Because you'd have to look through a bunch of different solutions, and that would take way more than 15 seconds of inspection. But anyways, I think that's a good change in strategy. So let me think about it a little bit more. Okay, so I've completely changed my strategy as I just explained, but yeah, it only took like a few seconds to come up with the new strategy. So instead of doing what I was originally planning to do, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to still do two types of sessions, but here's what they're going to be. The optimized session, it's going to be a regular session and an optimized session as usual, but the optimized session will be different. So instead of just choosing the most optimal pair for my first pair and second pair, and for all four pairs, what I'll do is plan the first two pairs in inspection on every single solve.
Literally every single solve, I'm going to plan my first two pairs. No matter how difficult the cross is, I'm going to plan the first two pairs in inspection. I know it's possible to do. I know it's possible. Sometimes I might have to take 2 or 3 minutes to inspect the cube in order to do it, but it's possible to inspect your first two pairs every solve if you really put the effort into it. To every single solve, you can plan your first two pairs, unless you're not very good at tracking pieces in inspection. But I have a lot of experience with planning far ahead into inspection because I've done 2x2. I've done advanced 2x2 solves where you try to one look your whole solve, and also for 3x3, I often plan one or two pairs in inspection. In fact, I have planned 3 pairs in inspection. It's if you get a really easy scramble. But the point is, what I'm going to do is a session where I plan the first 2 pairs in inspection on every solve, and then for the last 2 pairs, I look at the 2 pairs and figure out the most optimal way to solve them. So now, here's the thing. Hold on a second. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do for one session. For one session, I'm going to plan 2 pairs inspection, and then the last 2 pairs, I'll do an efficient solution for the last 2 pairs. So for the last 2 pairs, there is probably, so basically last 2 pairs of F2L, that would be really cool if somebody came up with a subset for that, because, or an alg set for that, because how many cases would there possibly be for the last 2 pairs? Like, there's not very many cases, really, right? Maybe like 100, 200 cases. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but if you came up with an alg set for the last 2 pairs, your F2L would be so efficient. It would be like ridiculously efficient. But on the other hand, maybe that's not the most practical thing because you want to also influence edges at the same time on your last pair, so you can't really plan. Well, basically, you would expand the subset to edges, but that would make the subset way too large, most likely. But anyways, that's besides the point. I'm not going to learn advanced, fancy stuff for the last 2 pairs, except possibly I will in the future learn F2 Gen F prime stuff. But for now, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, long story short, that's what my optimized session will be. But I will still continue to do regular sessions so that I can still maybe see some good improvement, and not have my time suck all the time. So, but here's the thing, with my regular sessions, they're not going to start off the way they used to because I need to still implement all those algorithms into my regular sessions. The thing I'm not implementing into my regular sessions yet is the planning 2 pairs of inspection plus doing the most efficient solution for the last 2 pairs. But the thing I will be implementing into my regular solves is all of those algorithms I learned on that piece of paper right there. So that means that my times will suffer a little bit, but they're not going to suffer nearly as much as they have been for the past couple of days because I will not be trying to find the most efficient F2L pair every single time. I'm basically just going to do the first pair I see most of the time. So I'm going to have to turn a little bit slowly at first to make sure I integrate all those algorithms, but it shouldn't take too long for me to get my times back down. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to take a little break, and then I guess, you know what, I want to try out the new type of optimized session. So after I take my break, I will do that optimized, the optimized session with planning 2 pairs in inspection and then doing the most efficient solution for the last 2 pairs. I will do that after I take my break, and then I'll get back to you. I'll let you know what the average was and how that went. Okay, so I only did 13 solves of of that thing. So yeah, here's why I'm not gonna do that anymore. Oh my gosh, that was so hard. Planning 2 pairs in inspection is a lot more difficult than I originally thought. I was able to plan 2 pairs inspection successfully for every solve in that session except for one. And the one solve I messed it up, the only reason I messed it up was because I messed up the execution. Like, I predicted the pairs correctly, but I executed them wrong. But man, is that difficult to plan 2 pairs in inspection. That's so difficult. And I was inspecting for up to 2 or 3 minutes in order to try to figure out what my first two pairs would be. It's so hard. It's kind of like 2x2 one looking, but you're basically planning. You're basically looking like 10 to or even 20 moves into your solve, and it's so hard to do. So I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna think of an alternative. Like I might eventually be able to do that every solve, but not now. My brain is not able to do that every single solve. It's just too hard. So I decided an alternative to that. So instead of planning my first two pairs of inspection, that's the final end goal, is to be able to plan two pairs of inspection. But I'm not at the stage yet where I can do that every single solve. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try to just plan really far, as far as I can, into every solve, given a reasonable amount of time. So basically, if I can very easily see two pairs, obviously I'll do that too. But most solves I'll probably just plan one pair. And maybe if it's really easy to plan one pair, but then the second pair is really difficult, what I can do is maybe like try to figure out another pair to track or something. I don't know. But basically I'll plan far into inspection, farther than I would normally plan. But at the same time, I'm not going to always plan two pairs. So basically, for my second pair, on some of these solves, I'll probably just do the first pair I see. But then for the last two pairs, I will specifically go into the mindset of picking the best pair or doing multi-sliding for the last two pairs. So yeah, that's the plan for this session. So yeah, I'll probably just start a new session and do that. It's currently 2:30, and I'll do that session, and I'll let you know how that goes. Okay, I finished the session. I did 68 solves, and the average was 14.5, and the best solve was a 6.8. Yeah, I might change my mind, but I'm really not in the mood to do that type of session anymore. So I think what I'm going to do instead is just do slow, quote, solves. Basically just slow solves. I'm going to do it every day that I do cubing practice. I'm going to do one session of slow solves and one session of fast solves. The slow solves will allow me to see things I wouldn't normally see in a fast solve. But I'm not going to go so far as to do specific things such as plan the first two pairs or choose the most optimal F2L case in every single case, or choose the most optimal F2L pair for the last two pairs. I'm not going to go so far as to do any of those things because I don't feel like it. I just don't feel like doing this anymore. I'm not motivated to do it. So the only thing I'm going to be doing from now on is just doing slow solves. And I should be able to pick up on all those other things naturally by doing slow solves. The more slow solves I do, the more things I will be able to do in the slow solves. And if I do a lot of slow solves, eventually the things I do in the slow solves will start to show themselves into my fast solves. So that's all I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to do any fancy stuff like planning first two pairs. So, yeah, I guess I'll just, I'll still continue the vlog for today because, like, I still need to continue the vlog in order to implement all the new F2L algorithms. So, yeah, I'll keep letting you know of the progress I make on implementing F2L algorithms. But once I get all those F2L algorithms implemented, I might not need to continue making the vlog. So anyways, yeah, I'm now going to do my regular fast 3x3 session, except it won't be fast at all because I still need to implement the algs. and let you know how that went. So yeah, I don't know if I forgot if I made an update on this or not, but I did a session without any kind of extra stuff at all. Basically, just trying to apply the algs whenever I see them in sols. And funnily enough, the average of the session was actually worse than the previous session. The average of this session was 17.3. So yeah. Here's the conclusion I've come to after all of this. It's too much. It's basically too much if I try to do all that extra stuff, like, you know, trying to like either plan the first two pairs or try to find the best pair, like look at all the different pairs, all that stuff, try to do multi-slotting. I think that's going to be too much to do at once, basically, because learning the algs is hard enough, but then adding that on there is going to be even more difficult. And I think the best thing for me to do is just to try to implement those algs, and that's it. That's do nothing else. Just implement the algs, and then later on I can work on that stuff, like independently of that. But yeah, because like the session is bad enough. So the average was 17, just trying to implement the new algorithms. So yeah, I'll just do that from now on. So, and also I think I'm kind of done with keeping for today, because I don't know, my brain hurts from doing all of that. So yep, that's about it for today. Tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. It's either gonna be cubing or homework. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.